Hi, Jim here with my thoughts for today, but probably I should call today's thoughts today's rant for the day, because this is really bothering me. This is something that has been irritating me for, well, I don't know, ever since this issue came up. I'm talking about Wilmar ALBREGO Garcia. This is a citizen of El Salvador, citizen of El Salvador, member of MS-13 as determined by two judges, and he was, due to just an error, these things happen, he was sent to El Salvador, and he's in an El Salvadoran prison, this MS-13 member and El Salvadoran citizen. And I just heard this, well, four more representatives, Democrats of course, have gone to El Salvador to demand him back. And then we have Chris Van Hollen, the senator who went over there first, had margaritas with Garcia, and they're saying, they're getting such pushback from this now that they're saying, well, we're not defending him. This is what Van Hollen said. We're defending his rights, and we just wanted, because if they can do it to Van Hollen, they can do it to anybody. Well, first of all, a little aside here, but it is relevant. You know, I digress sometimes. This is relevant. Anybody remember? I guess everybody's forgotten about Benghazi, where terrorists raided an American embassy and, murdered we'll say lynched, I guess, murdered the ambassador and some of his staff, right, as I recall. And what happened? Hillary Clinton and, we'll stick with Clinton, Obama too, I believe, but the Obama administration blamed the incident, the raid, this murder, on a vlogger, who made some video about an anti-Muslim video or anti-Islam video, whatever it was. The point is, he was arrested. The Obama Justice Department arrested him and threw him in jail. So all this stuff about rights, and where were they when this guy was being thrown in jail? Now, he eventually had to plead guilty to violating a probation because lying about whether he made that video, number one, and number two, something else, just minor things that had nothing to do with Benghazi, nothing to do with this video. That is the point. Excuse to throw him in jail, and he didn't want to spend his whole life in jail, so he pled guilty to a couple of things, 4 things, I think. But he spent a year in jail, and then he was under supervision for 5 years. And all these people were arguing about rights for this guy, Garcia, this MS-13 member, this innocent man, on the other hand, who just made a video and had the murder of an ambassador and some of his staff pinned on him. And where were these people? They were nowhere. So that's number one. And that's not the main point for today. The main point is that everybody talking about that it's like they never read the case, or they never paid attention to the opinion of the Supreme Court that was reported. The whole history of this whole incident, it's like it never happened. They just have this fantasy of what happened. So I'm going to tell you what happened and what the real point is that everybody is missing about this. So this is what happened. Now, Garcia was deported. We know that. He was, his lawyers, he had lawyers, they went before a judge, a federal judge, and argued that, he was wrongly deported, he should be brought back. And this judge, she issued an order to facilitate to the Justice, Department, to the the Trump administration, to facilitate and effectuate his return. Okay, facilitate and effectuate. Now, just the fact that you put those two terms in there, they must have two different meanings, and you just need a dictionary to see that they do have two different meanings. Facilitate means to make easier, to make easy, to glide the path. Effectuate means to bring into effect, to make something happen. So I don't know why she put those words in that order. I would have said effectuate and facilitate. But she basically ordering them the administration to bring this guy back and to make it easy to bring him back. All right. So the Supreme Court, this is the point, it was a 9-0 decision. And this is what one thing really just set me off was one talking head said, well, 9-0 decision against the Trump administration, and the Trump administration is ignoring the Supreme Court, violating a Supreme Court decision. And no, actually, it's the judge who, first of all, it was a 9-0 decision in Trump's favor, in the Trump administration's favor, not the other way around. And it's actually the judge who is defied the order. And, well, you're going to have to forgive me while I can drink here. My throat's getting dry. So, what did the Supreme Court decide? The Supreme Court said, okay, Trump must facilitate this guy's return, and so they upheld that part, but they ordered the judge to define what she means by effectuate, and to assure, and to first of all, what does she mean, and then to make sure that what she wants does not intrude on the president's power as a chief executive. So that was the order. That's what she was ordered to do by the Supreme Court. What did she do? She rewrote the order and just deleted effectuate, okay? She didn't define it as the Supreme Court ordered. She just took the word out. So we're left with facilitate. So number one, she defied the Supreme Court, okay, did not follow the order. And number two, effectuate is no longer in there. So he's no there yet. The administration is no longer required to bring him back, just to make it easier. And Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, said, okay, well, we'll send a plane. If the president, if El Salvador wants to send them back, we will make it easy. We will facilitate. In other words, obey the only remaining part of that order, and we'll send a plane. We'll make it easy. They don't have to fly him back. Just deliver him, is anywhere in El Salvador, and then we'll pick him up and we'll fly him back. So and then you have the judge saying that the administration is defying the order. No, because they only have to facilitate. Now she's changing the name of facilitate. I mean, the definition of facilitate is all these talking heads seem to be doing, and changing facilitate to mean bring them back. No, effectuate means to bring back, to cause something to happen. Facilitate means only to make it easier. But the main point, now we get to the main point though, because I said a moment ago, send a plane to pick him up if El Salvador wants to return him. And that is the whole thing. El Salvador said they do not want to return him. They're not going to return him. And this is where we get back to what the Supreme Court was talking about. What do you mean by effectuate? What do you want Trump to do? Invade, declare war on on El Salvador to get this guy back? Invade the country, send in SEAL Team 6 in the middle of the night. This guy is being held in a prison, attack a prison, put economic sanctions, or whatever on El Salvador. What does now all these talking heads, I would challenge them, like this guy, he's actually Jerry Baker from he writes for the Wall Street Journal, and he's speaking on TV now. I don't know if now he's talking about California losing thousands of workers, but before he was very adamant on this due process. So he can, if El Salvador, that was the whole thing, and that's my challenge to Jerry Baker and these other people. Okay, do what the Supreme Court ordered this judge to do that. This judge did not do, and say, what do you mean when you say bring him back? What do you expect the administration to do? What do you expect? How far do you want the administration to go to get this guy back? And we can actually remember another guy. I forgot his first name. Wambier. He was this guy who young man, like 21 years old, and he was, visited North Korea, of all places. I don't know why anyone would go there, but Americans sometimes go there. He stole a North Korean flag, or he tried to steal a North Korean flag that was hanging in a hotel room. They put him, North Korea arrested him, imprisoned him, and he got so sick that North Korea decided to return him, and just as he was returned, he died. Okay, but what did the Obama administration, I believe it was the Obama administration, do to get? No, it could have been the Bush. Doesn't matter. What did the United States do to get him back? They couldn't do anything. They're not going to declare war, and they're not going to invade North Korea. So imagine that this Garcia was in North Korea. Well, would anybody seriously expect us to be able to do anything to get him back? And that is the whole point. Everybody's talking back and forth and due process and rights and all this. And by the way, he can still have due process, right? He doesn't. You see any trial, the witness just sits there, or the defendant or the plaintiff just sits there, and the lawyers talk. Well, the lawyers can go to that court now, and they can argue his case and win or lose. And if they win, well, I mean, if they lose, end of story. If they win, then again, what will this court order the Trump administration to do? How can they get? That's the point. He is in El Salvador. They don't want to get him back. End of story. That's it. End of story. He's not coming back unless El Salvador wants to send him back, and they said they're not going to. And actually, he's one of their citizens, and. That's, I'll just end on this because this is kind of, it's ironic in a way, because the whole point this Garcia was trying to stay in the United States was he entered illegally, number one, so he's unlawfully in the country. So he was going, that was the other point that the Attorney General made. He's going to be deported. It's just whether it's to El Salvador or somewhere else, assuming again that El Salvador wants to give him back. If he comes back, he gets deported again, because he was claiming that he was in danger because El Salvador was dangerous, and that there was a rival gang that he was afraid would kill him. So number one, that rival gang does not exist anymore. But number two, precisely because this President Bukele of El Salvador, who has, last time I checked, was something like a 98% approval rating, because he built this prison. I'm sure you've seen photos of it. He built this prison, picked up all these El Salvador, all these MS-13 members and other gangsters, and put them in jail. And El Salvador, which was once more one of the most dangerous places on the planet, crime-ridden places on the planet, is now one of the safest. So this Garcia would no longer be in danger, sent back, and if he were a law-abiding citizen, he would be on the streets. But he's not. He's an MS-13 member, determined by two courts in America. So that's it. That I just wanted to. I wish I could go on TV. I wish I was sitting next to one of these people, especially this Jerry Baker, because maybe I could write to him at the Wall Street Journal and see if he has an email contact, and make this point to him. And if he does. I have to ask his permission, ask him permission to share it with all of you. This is if I can write to him and if he writes back. But that's it. thanks for stopping by. That was my rant for today. Thanks for stopping by. I expect more rants in the future. And, well, your thoughts, they can be rants. Your thoughts or your rants are welcome in the comments section below the video. Share this video with anyone you think would benefit from it. But most of all, come back and see me again. I would love to see all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.